What's going on? Diego back here with another video, and today I want to talk to you about why protein can be your #1 weapon against aging. Dun dun dun. When a lot of people think about aging, I think a lot of people think about things like heart disease, dementia, maybe Parkinson's, arthritis. And while all those things are true, there's a whole other part to aging that most people don't talk about. And even though those first things are terrible, they don't affect everybody that gets old, but a majority of people as they age will get affected by this other part. And that's just your simple loss of everyday abilities and your loss of independence. And that could be due to lack of protein. Dun dun dun. Man, just interrupted me. Now, before I get into aging and muscle loss or anything like that, let me talk to you first about something that you can probably relate with a little bit more. And that's just trying to get in enough protein for you right now, because most people don't get enough protein. Most people suffer from things like random cravings and, being hungry all the time, maybe thinking about food all the time, especially when they're trying to get healthy. And scientists have called this the protein leverage effect. And basically, it's your body trying to tell you you're not getting enough protein because your body wants to hit a certain level of protein every day. And when it doesn't, it keeps your hunger cues turned on. And most people aren't eating foods with a high enough amount of protein. So when those hunger cues get turned on, they start craving all the foods that they normally eat, the high processed foods that are high in calories, but low in protein. And what ends up happening is you end up eating too many calories, but not enough protein. So especially when people start to try to get fit and in shape and they're trying to reduce their calories, maybe the answer isn't less calories, but it's more protein. And I know a lot of times when I tell people to eat more protein, they start thinking about, bodybuilders and rippling muscles. Hulk smash, need protein. And while that's true that, protein does build your skeletal muscles, protein also builds almost everything else in your body. I mean, your hormones, your enzymes, insulin is made with protein. There's so much that is made with protein. And a lot of those systems are running 24/7. Most of those systems are running 24/7. So they have to be constantly rebuilt and repaired. And your body uses proteins to do that, right? And if your body's not getting enough of those proteins in, it's gonna draw from its stored proteins, which is usually from your muscle. And you're probably thinking once or twice, not that big of a deal, but imagine this goes on for decades, right? So if you're like me and you're over 30 years old, research shows that if you are not doing anything to battle this muscle loss, meaning you're not trying to eat higher protein and work out, that you're losing about 8% of your muscle mass per decade. And I know I said decades, so that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but people will go 10, 20, 30, 40 years without really trying to combat this natural thing that's already happening. And by then, it's already too late. And you can't walk up the stairs. You can't carry your groceries. You can't get up and down in a chair without somebody helping you out. And that is the worst part about aging, is losing those abilities. Now, there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and it's the fact that you can slow this aging process. Actually, in research, they've shown that people up to 80 years old can actually battle this process pretty well if you are working out only 2 times a week with some kind of resistance training, something that's gonna challenge your muscles, but you are also getting in adequate protein. And that's kind of another part of this story. That's another rub here. And that's the fact that for a long time, the recommended amount of protein that you need to get in per day is 0.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. And if you don't want to do math, I'll just wrap it up by saying this. New research has shown that you have to get 2 times that or more of protein a day to actually help rebuild and battle those aging processes. So for a lot of people, they're trying to get in less than half, and even that seems like a pretty big fight. So what's the solution here? So how much do we need to get in, and how do we get that in? Well, for most people that I help, the number one thing that I tell them is you have to start building your meals around your protein, meaning that the protein is going to be the very first thing that you choose to put on your plate. And you want it to be something high in protein, something like chicken breast or Greek yogurt or lean ground beef, something like that. And then you can kind of fill in everything else around it. And if you're eating it consistent times of the day, maybe 3 or 4 times of the day, then your body knows when to expect those calories and your energy is going to last better throughout the day. In fact, if you want help with this, I've created a free guide. It's easy, 3 steps to help you choose your proteins and your portion sizes to keep you consistent and on that health plan so you can see those results. And I'll leave a link down below, completely free guide. So here's kind of the big picture here. When you're not eating enough protein and you're not working out, you are more likely to have falls and fractures and lose your independence way before you should. But if you are getting in that protein and you're working out, you are creating biological reserves for your body to live off of into those further years of life, so you don't become one of those old, frail people. Now you can just be old and grumpy and yell at people from your couch, the way that old age is meant to be. Now, if you like this video and it helped you out, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to see another video about how getting in shape is a lot like playing music, then you're going to want to click right up here, because this is something that you might want to look into if you're starting out. And I'll see you there. Peace.